How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck off this channel. This is Iron Fist, Season 1, Episode 9, The Mistress of All Agonies. Now, the Mistress of All Agonies, I assume, is going to be Gao? Again, these names are so unbelievably irrelevant. Last episode, what was it? The Blessing of Many Fractures, which, like, the only thing that I can possibly guess for that is Colleen and Danny sort of talking about, like, all the shit that's gone wrong in their lives, and yet meeting each other and knowing each other and being in this relationship is the blessing of, you know, all of our, like, our lives were shit, but if they weren't shit, we also wouldn't have met. So that's like the only kind of thing I can think that maybe makes sense, and that feels like a bit of a stretch. So, Mistress of All Agonies, my guess is Gao. It doesn't matter if it's relevant. If you want to see the full length, check it out on the Patreon below for $4 a month. If you want to see the normal cut-up reaction, check it out in the description below. Alright, we are here talking about Iron Fist.
Oh yeah.
Episode 9, The Mistress of All Agonies.
Alright.
And which I think this one is pretty clear that it is just Gao.
Yeah.
But more importantly in this episode, the monster rises. I called it. It's like, I'm so glad that I called it and
You nailed it.
But I was definitely picturing something. Like I was picturing him coming back as just a zombie.
Yeah, like the way you described it, like I also had that in my head, so I was a little disappointed when I saw him because like his face wasn't waterlogged or anything. Like he was just kind of normal, but a little out of it.
But I don't know though. I don't know which I prefer. Like this is honestly. In the beginning, I was a little bit disappointed, but also very glad that they still did the covered in mud. He what sold it was the whole sequence for me, where he's like, you know, coughing up the mud to the guy at the hot dog place. Much better, much better. The stuff, like, they do a lot of fun stuff with it, but they clearly didn't really want to do a monster-y kind of thing too much, but they still wanted to do it, because he pretty much immediately changes as soon as Kyle picks him up, which, we'll talk about Kyle in a second.
And I think that's better for his characters. Like, the danger that he presents comes more from his personality and his ability to talk to people.
Yeah.
Like, he does have fighting ability, but he would be, like, less of a threat if he came back and he looked, you know, more Frankenstein-y and he was, like, punching people.
Yeah. See, and I think that's what I like. By the end of this episode, I more prefer where they went with this rather than like him coming back as an actual like zombified is the wrong word, but like that's the best visual I can get across.
Yeah.
And still having like the stab wounds and everything is still like has that visual to it. And coming up out of the lake with the whole shot of him coming out of the lake is beautifully done.
Yeah.
Like so amazingly done. I love the knife reveal. It looks so good. Everything about that was great, and like you can see that like through the episode he's like getting his stamina back. Yeah, which like I don't know how that works, you know, with him coming back to life. Also, he didn't need to breathe down there. The knife didn't have any blood on it.
Yeah,
he's not bleeding when he comes out. Like there's a lot of interesting stuff going on that we don't really know the answer to yet at all. But yeah, I think it's much more interesting where we go with the end of the episode, because I really like those kind of characters that, you know, just sort of snap and then don't like realize what they've done later. Yeah. Yeah, I really love that sort of thing. It's the whole Kyle scene. So, brought back Kyle in this episode just to kill them all.
Should have kept him around.
Yeah, there's no like real reason why not to. Like, you just have like a line here or there where his name is mentioned or something, because it's not like he had like we've been saying. Once Harold went out, you know, to visit Danny in the psychiatric hospital, which was episode 2, we haven't seen Kyle since then. But from this episode, we know that Kyle has still been around and still been doing stuff for him, like still been assumingly in the building, and we just never seen him. And it feels like they really wanted to just do more Warden Harold stuff and didn't want to have Kyle be there. Right. And they didn't want to have an explanation for why Kyle wasn't there, but then they also wanted to pretend that he was there when we get into this episode. Yeah. So that's really weird, but you know, I'm willing to forgive it, whatever. But it's kind of annoying to me.
Yeah, and it sucks because I think this would have hit me so much harder if Kyle had been there the whole time.
Yeah.
Because it is a very big, like, kick the dog moment.
Yeah. It is also, I mean, like,
Mhm.
from the moment Kyle's introduced, you know he's going to die. Like,
Oh, yeah.
100%. So I'm not sure it's much of a kick the dog moment when you immediately see the dog and go, that dog's going to die.
I mean, I feel like it's less of a dog moment if the dog just kind of, like, disappears for a while and then shows up to die.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I didn't really like the dog that much.
He just came back to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But, what was I going to say? Oh, that it is also weird that they brought up right before Kyle died, right before that, we do the whole monologue of the pet cemetery monologue of oh yeah, somebody else tried this in the past, but when they come back, they don't come back the same. That's not your child anymore. I mean, we're 100% just kind of doing the pet cemetery thing for this thing. I don't mind. I like seeing that in a more serious kind of superhero kind of plot. It's really interesting seeing that, because it's basically 1-to-1. There's not much more going on there. But yeah, they bring up that whole thing, and they bring up specifically they kill the ones closest to them first, and they do say that first.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, they always go after the ones closest to them. It's they go after the ones closest to them first, and then the very first person that he kills is Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
That's a weird message.
Yeah.
It is like maybe they wanted to say, that Kyle's been around him more than the kids have from that, and he has, well, it's not like he loves Kyle more than anything that. He is closer to him, literally.
I could see that.
Not like a physical closeness, but like in a, literally, Kyle's just been around more, has heard more, knows more about Harold at this point. They could have done something like that, but not really.
Yeah.
If they were, it didn't come across.
Again, should have been around longer.
Yeah.
Like, in this episode, we also get Harold, like, going back into the building and his reveal that, his secret pass code is Ward's birthday.
Yeah.
Which felt like a big, like, we've been doing a lot of, he likes Joy more than Ward. He's misremembering things that he did with Joy as things with Ward. I feel like that was supposed to be a big, like, but he does still like Ward. Look, he remembers Ward's birthday.
I totally thought it was going to be it's Ward's birthday. I don't remember what that is.
Yeah.
But no, wasn't that at all.
Yeah, he did genuinely use it. And that's something that would come to mind to him.
That is interesting. That, I mean, and the whole, I want my family back, He specifically says, I want, my family back. I'll do whatever it takes to get my family back and everything like that. And then, after saying that, just kind of implies, all right, yeah, Ward, you can leave. But, he does, afterwards says, I want to leave. He just, out of nowhere goes, I will do anything to have my family together. All right, see you, Ward. And it's like, But, so, I think what we're really setting up, though, is Ward having to come back and save Joy, essentially.
Yeah.
We're doing a kind of redemption arc for Ward. Does he deserve it? No, but it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think that's the important thing. He doesn't deserve this, but no one else can do this but Ward. He's kind of in an anti-hero sort of position right now. And that's really fun to root for now. I never thought I'd be in this situation, but it is kind of like I'm rooting for the bad guy to take out all the other bad guys.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we're going to end the season with the show saying, hey, Ward was great.
Yeah.
I feel like it is definitely this is how he helps, not be the worst person.
And I could definitely see him dying in the end of the season, because I don't know what they would do with him in a season 2. Iron Fist does have a season 2, right?
It does have a season 2.
I think I've asked this question 8 times, but
it's cool.
Yeah. So Joy fully, I think, is going to live and carry over to the second season, and they're going to not even do a redemption arc for her because they don't really think that she needs one. I don't think.
Yeah.
But she really should. I mean, she don't deserve one either. But I can really tell the stank of the show of we're just gonna have Joy carry over to season 2 and act like she's not a bad person.
She reminds me a lot of Mariah from Luke Cage.
Yeah.
In that they're both being sidelined. They're both important, but they're also kind of being sidelined. And then it seems like season 2 is going to be where they really shine.
I would say that Mariah from Luke Cage was definitely a lot more of the bad guy sort of thing. Whereas Joy is, they give her a lot of lines like that, but at the end of the day, I think they think the audience doesn't think of her as a bad guy.
Okay.
I think that's the difference. I think they give her scenes where she's very clearly the bad guy, and they want her to be the bad guy, but they also recognize that when the episode is over, people are going to forget about that and still just think of Joy as, you know, not a bad guy.
Okay.
Which is a problem, but I think that is what is going to transpire throughout the rest of the season.
I think we're building more towards a villain turn.
I hope so. I hope you're correct. We've been saying this throughout the whole thing, and I hope you're correct.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have Joy's reuniting with Harold, which, for everything we just said, I feel very, very bad for her that she is, you know, having to have this reuniting, and then she's going to find out, on top of that, like, who Harold really is, and what he's been keeping from her. And is she going to find that out on her own, or is Ward going to come in and say it, and she's not going to believe him? There's a lot going on between Danny, Ward, and Joy right now that is going to be fascinating when they're all in the same room together again.
Yeah.
Because they have been apart for not that long in terms of episodes, but quite a while in terms of plot developments. And so now they're kind of all clued in on each of the plot developments, except for Joy doesn't know about, like, the other stuff, and I guess Ward doesn't really know about the hand stuff either, but he knows a lot more about it than Joy does. But either way, when they all get back together, they all sort of know more or less everything that's going on, just in different pieces, and they haven't come together to talk about it. Every time it's been kind of in passing, or just Ward and Joy, and they are at an impasse. And
there's a few big reveals we need to get still.
So yeah, that is going to be interesting, and I don't know what we're like, if it's going to be at this point now that Joy knows about Harold, what's going to be, is she going to run into Ward first and they're going to have another conversation? Or are we going to not have them run into each other until all three are together? Or, like, what's going to be the pairing of, you know, people meeting for the first time after this big event has just happened?
Right.
Especially after all this stuff with Danny and Gal, he knows a lot more now.
Yeah.
So, like, Danny meeting back up with them is going to be fascinating. Oh, man. It was really weird this episode with Danny, like, coming back to America, then, like, in the same day having to go get the drug from Rand, and just Joy running into him on the street randomly and being like, I knew I'd find you here. That was, like, the most, like, movie, TV show scene I've ever seen. Just like, what do you mean you knew who'd find? What is the scene? Danny's just, like, on the street somewhere, and she just runs into him so coincidentally in all of New York. So, this is such a stupid scene.
Also, I don't think we'll talk about it very much, but I need to get it out. I can't believe that after making the joke about being on the plane with Gal for like 15 hours, they just did it.
I wasn't a joke. I told you that was what was going to happen.
I could not believe it.
I know TV. I know they are not going to show that. They are going to go, we can't let our audience think about the fact that Gal was just sitting on a plane for 15 hours with them, and they could have interrogated her there.
Now we have to go home.
Gotta go home.
We will not talk to her until we go home. Also, she will not try to do anything with us until we get home.
It's also an extremely slow-acting poison. Like, the rest of them, I guess they had to have gotten cut pretty damn deep, because the poison the hand assassins. Every time we see the poison, it acts very quickly. With Colleen, it took like 16 to 17 hours.
I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it does seem like Gao just does not have any of the good hand people. Everything she has ever used in Iron Fist has always been like, oh, there's some cooks that you can have fight, or here's some guy.
Yeah.
Even the poison is, like, clearly not the top shelf poison that they just give random ninjas that are going into a hospital. It is no, Gao, you suck. We're gonna give your not even ninjas. These are just, like, what, police? No, they're like a SWAT team or something?
No, not the SWAT, because the person who poisoned Colleen was the swordwoman that she was fighting.
Oh, you're right.
Because she got the cut on her shoulder.
Oh my god, you're right. Oh, I forgot how slow acting the poison was.
That's why I said 16, like,
yeah,
15
right,
hours to the plane, and then however many hours they were interrogating her for. That's a long poison. And it's like, why did that person have, like, if there's a different poison, why did that person have less acting poison than the guards, like, around Gao or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
It's insane.
The whole plot with Gao is it's so weird and hard to talk about because Gao is so inconsistent now on power level stuff. And like I still really like her, and I think she's still one of my favorite villains in all of the Netflix shows. But man, Iron Fist is really just taking her down a level of scariness and competence. But at the same time, she still does have a lot. It's just that it's not that her. I would say like I keep expecting there to bring her personally down in scariness, but really it's just the Hand they're bringing down in scariness.
Yeah.
Whereas Gao, I would say, has stayed the same. Like I thought that, last episode it seemed really weird that she just let Danny take her and all that. But it seems like she knew Colleen was poisoned. She was, wanted that to happen, knew it was going to take a lot of time for that to happen, so she kind of wanted to go with them. Also, she probably just needed to go back to America anyway. She said, free plane ticket.
Fair.
She knows them. She knows they're not going to torture her or anything.
Yeah, like
she knows truth serum wasn't going to work on her.
Yeah, like she has that extreme confidence. Like especially the scene in this episode where Danny does like the the big punch and then stops like a millimeter away from her face. That sold me on the idea that back on, in the Hand compounds when he iron fisted the wall behind her, she definitely knew he was not going to punch her.
Yeah.
Like both those are definitely I could use my big push ability, but I'm not going to because I don't need to. I know for a fact you're not going to hurt me.
Yeah. And in this episode with the truth serum, like something that has been getting me is like, why does she seem scared a couple times? But now I'm realizing, okay, she is an actor. Like she was probably acting scared to make Danny think that he had the upper hand.
Yeah.
Where like in the moment it seemed really weird. It was like, why was she scared there, but now extremely confident here? And I do think that is to get in their heads.
Yeah.
Make him think that he has the upper hand. Then once he actually has you, stop acting scared, and then that's going to confuse him. And like. That's just gonna make him feel like why was she scared? Like she's scared of me killing her, but she doesn't think I'm gonna get the information out. Like she's trying to egg him on.
Yeah.
And like her plan really. I think her true plan was just Colleen or Claire might just honestly let me go.
Yeah.
Like I might be able to convince them, especially Claire. Like when they were in the fight there, and she could hear Claire say like, "Man, Danny, stop fighting these people. I really don't want to be here. God, I hate having to fight." I can see where she's like, "Oh, this might be pretty easy to get out of this situation." Yeah. It don't seem like they're too close to it. And again, like she knows about Claire's whole like past and everything.
Yeah.
She knows about her mother. She's very fine in the situation. The Hand, a lot less scary. Gao, still fine. The only thing, she does seem truly, not acting wise, truly scared of Bakuto.
Yeah.
And he knows about the Iron Fist. We've already established that, but now it's like he doesn't just know about the Iron Fist. He knows about like all of their techniques and stuff like that. Ones that Danny hasn't even been taught. It's like, why hasn't Danny been taught that?
Yeah, like, that's a big thing. Early on, it felt really weird to me that like the way Danny said it, it seemed like not only did he have the Iron Fist, but that like he was the best. Like not the best user of the Iron Fist in particular, but that he was like the best of the best. And I feel like this episode really recontextualizes as, like, he has the Iron Fist. He's been trained, but there's still stuff he does not know about. Because that is such a, like, it's not even a, you have to train in order to do this. It is just, no, did you know if you open up the Iron Fist, you can, like, heal people?
Yeah.
Or, you can destroy poison.
And that might have to do with when he left, because he did leave of his own accord. It wasn't like, it's time for you to leave.
Yeah.
So, the way he got all of his moves is like, I fight somebody, if I win, they teach me a move.
Right.
So, must have just been like, well, there's more he could have learned if he stayed, but he didn't want to. So, I don't think it doesn't make sense or anything.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just interesting, like, that the healing thing is not one of the... I guess it's not healing. It's just, like, pulling poison. Like, he is destroying the poison.
Yeah, like, it is an attack of sorts.
But you would think, unless this poison is a new thing... I mean, his parents were killed by the poison. So you would think that would be one of the ones you would want to teach him first.
Yeah. And he does have the move where, like... when the, like, spider lady was, like, sticking him with poison needles, he did have the move where he, like, shot out all the needles and also, like, recovered from the poison. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, like... That we talked about how that was really stupid because, like, they don't say that he eradicated the poison or anything. He just, like, shoots all the needles out of him. Right. And then he is still kind of weak and everything, but, like, yeah, maybe that was supposed to be a thing where he was, like... But yeah. I don't know. Either way. So...
when they're interrogating Gao, we then have the military come in. I mean, like, I'm saying that as like a quote unquote, but like, what the hell is that? Is that just Gao having connections in the military, or is that her stealing military gear and putting it on assassins, or is that something else? Or like, does the hand just have, you know, like they didn't steal that, they just made it or whatever, or like
they could
bought it? Or...
They could have just hired someone.
They could have just hired someone, sure. Like, who do you think they would have hired?
Like, Kilgrave, like in Jessica Jones, just hired like a personal protection, group with guns to protect him that one time.
Sure, yeah, but I mean, this is full on like SWAT gear.
True.
Like, I don't think that if you hired a bunch of bodyguards, they would all have this stuff, and also all the uniform. And, like,
you're right.
They have like the zip tie thing, or not, I'm sure what they're called, but the repelling stuff, and they had explosive charges. They had smoke bombs. They had a like military night vision camera thing. Like,
yeah, it's a little more than personal protection.
Yeah,
you're right.
I don't think it's that. If she's paying anybody, I think it's paying the military to do something.
Right.
But yeah, that's really the question. Is this just straight up the military? Like, she has them on her payroll, or is this the hand?
Right.
Like, it's just the hand. They're not also military people. They are just in this. It doesn't really matter. But it's just it was a weird, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and like, it does stand out that, like, she has never used the normal ass, like, hand ninja.
Yeah. And
like,
also,
that keeps on saying, like, I keep on saying that, but that is because it feels so weird.
It does feel extremely weird. Also, it should be mentioned that these were military, like, full-on gear and everything like that, and Claire was able to, take some out, and Colleen was poisoned and, like, dying and was able to take some out. Which, I mean, Colleen's super badass, so that one might be, whatever.
Sure.
But Claire was able to take some out, and it's like, what? They also had night vision, and like, they were in the dark. There's really no reason why Claire should have been able to take them out, other than this is not actually like a military person or something. Like, none of them fired a gun, really.
Yeah.
They all just kind of jumped down and then got their asses beat, and nobody fired a bullet.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going on there. But that is definitely some weird fuckery.
It's a weird one.
So, speaking of the truth serum and everything, I liked bringing back that lab lady that was brought up before. Like, I think in that episode is when I said, like, I like that we're introducing these smaller people at the company that seem like they're going to help Danny in little ways. Like, she is now, or Megan, is that her name?
The secretary.
Was helping him with his dad's stuff, and just also, like, giving him, like, how do you feel about this company, honestly, and all that sort of stuff. And, I feel like we're going to get even more of that. This woman, like, she had no reason to help Danny at all.
Yeah.
Really. Like, it wasn't even like Danny's done something for her or anything. And she is, like, a lab person. She is not even, like, Megan, who's an assistant, and, like, he's got, like, the dental benefits for them and all that sort of stuff. But she had really no reason to help, and she still did. That's incredible.
Yeah, and, like, he tries to be as ethical as he can about it. Like, he did acknowledge, like, this is real messed up. This could cost you your job, but please, I need this help.
Yeah. And I do like that, he recognizes that, like, the thing with Gao is more important than your job. And also, to be fair, Danny is absolutely the kind of person who would get her another job, like, would help her in any way, or just give her a ton of money to say, like, here's some money, wait until, I'm finished with this, and then we'll do something.
Also, before I forget, we did get confirmation in this episode that, yes, Danny still has 51% of the company.
Yeah.
Like, they took him off the board, so they did, like, give him a board position when he was suing them.
Yeah.
But he still has 51%.
How do you take him off the board when he has 51%?
Yeah.
Because...
like, they even pointed out before, he doesn't have a position at the company.
Yeah, 51% just means that he has a seat on the board, right?
Yeah.
So what the fuck does that mean if you take off the board but still have 51% of the shares? I mean, I'm not a business person, but that doesn't seem to make any sense at all. Like, that is still the biggest mind fuckery. If someone could please explain that to us.
Yeah, because I don't know, honestly.
I don't understand. So... we have... Okay, Harold is at the building when he is in his, like, more monstery state of memories not working and everything like that. He is at the Rand building, Guy walks past, recognizes him,
Mm-hmm.
seems to like know like, okay, this is weird, but
Mhm.
I'm not going to, involve myself in this.
Mhm.
But it seems like he either recognized Harold or recognize like whether he recognized him from just Rand in general or
Right.
recognized him because of the connection to Danny and all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
Because then he goes to the food truck stand, doesn't kill the guy, just sort of ties him up, but definitely in a like a I'm not a great guy kind of way.
Yeah.
But it should be noted that doesn't kill him or anything. He just kind of knocks him out in like one hit and then immediately like ties him up. And then just keeps throwing shit at him for no reason.
Yeah.
But that seems to be a TV show thing that just characters do all the time. We're just like, I'm just going to be more of an asshole than I am for the rest of the show.
I genuinely don't know if the like tinfoil throwing stars are supposed to be he's so skilled he can like stick them in even though they're made of tinfoil, or if it is I'm using my key to harden it.
I could be that, but I do think it's supposed to be just he is so perfect at folding that he is able to fold over the aluminum 5,000 times like a katana.
Yeah, I can see that.
So then we get somebody outside Rand who is like clearly with the hand on like little bad guy communication device thing with Gal. They're just like, okay, going after Danny, got it. And then he like watches them, doesn't go after them, like is not like, oh, I'm also going to go after Danny then. I know where Danny is now, time to go kill him with you. Like, oh, I'm also the hand. And then so at the end of the episode, Danny's put in the vehicle and he's just standing there, What does all this mean? My guess is just that this is someone from Kunlun who's watching over Danny. This is the bird, maybe, and maybe this is Davos.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
That is also my guess, because like I can't think of anyone else it would be story-wise. And like we have been talking about Davos, and this would be a good how did this episode end? Oh no, is Danny in even more trouble? And then we learn no, it is his friends, but he might also still be in trouble. Yeah. Like he might be here to say, hey, the portal was open, what are you doing?
Yeah, it might be like, oh, the hand came and killed us all, where were you?
You had one job.
So what do you think about Bakuto then? Like, we got Davos and someone that he knew from Kunlun and everything. Bakuto maybe being an ex-Iron Fist, maybe?
Maybe.
Like, do you give it up?
Because, yeah, you are one in a succession of immortal Iron Fists.
Yeah.
We don't really know what it means if you are no longer the immortal Iron Fist. Like, are you still immortal?
Yeah, and the immortal Iron Fist, once again, I think that is more a metaphor for the title of Iron Fist is immortal, not the Iron Fist, the person is immortal.
Okay.
Like, Danny is not immortal, it's just that the title of Iron Fist will live on forever, because it gets passed on.
Yeah.
I think that is more what immortal Iron Fist means. But, I think, what does that mean about, because the Iron Fist is just being able to channel your ki. Like, it's not like here, let me give you the Iron Fist.
Right.
It is a technique.
Yeah, but it is one that involves, getting it from a dragon.
Excuse me? I don't remember that.
Well, we haven't been told it explicitly, but, Danny's been hinting at the, it involves a dragon, and I've got this, dragon mark on me. I don't know if it's a literal dragon or not, but...
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Because has he said? He hasn't implied anything.
He's implied it, but it has been the the way he talks about everything in Kunlun, where he just kind of says it to someone who doesn't know what he's talking about.
I want to listen to that line because I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, it's somewhere in there.
Okay. Was it in this episode?
No.
Okay.
It's an early episode.
Just somewhere in Iron Fist.
Somewhere in Iron Fist.
Okay, I mean, maybe that is it.
Yeah.
Because, it is, what is the Iron Fist? Why is it that they're, up till now I assumed it would just be they only want one at a time. They don't like having multiple ones. It's tradition, and fair enough, but, maybe it is something more, I got a dragon heart.
Yeah, we don't really know how it's, passed on.
Yeah. So, back to Bakuto, he is maybe an ex-Iron Fist that left because he wanted to be, whether he was asked to, or maybe he wanted to be closer to Colleen's father, and that's as far as we got.
Yeah.
Do you got any more, like, extending that theory at all?
Not really. We know so nothing about him.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's why I'm trying to, like, leap out on a ledge here and go, like, ex-Iron Fist left because he wanted to be around Colleen's father for some reason. And, well, Colleen's father is the dragon.
Yeah.
Like, if Danny got his powers from a dragon...
Oh, I didn't think about that.
It could have just been her father was the ex-Iron Fist.
Maybe, yeah.
What would that make Bakuto then?
I mean, he might not be... He might just be someone who, like, knows of the Iron Fist. Like, it could just be the, like, I know the Iron Fist can do that, why aren't you doing it? Because also, the way he brings it up is not a, like, I'm going to teach you this. It is the, like, why haven't you done this already?
I guess I mean, it's like, what will be the twist? Because we already know that he knows about the Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So, like, what is the reveal? You know, the reveal wouldn't just be, but I know about the Iron Fist. Like, what is his character? What is his... If her father is the ex-Iron Fist...
Yeah, I guess he might... It could be that he's, like, from Kunlun, because, like, Gao's reaction to him is so immediate. It is, like... Yeah. Because it also isn't... Like, she's not even bluffing. She just says, you know, don't come in.
But... Okay, let me rephrase. Where's Bakuto taking Danny? Like, is he taking him to Kunlun? I don't think so. That's why I think Bakuto's got to be something else. Like, Colleen knows where he's taking him, so it cannot be Kunlun.
Right.
It can't. But where would... And it wouldn't be... It's in a car, so it's not like we're taking him to, you know, another country.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what...
I'm thinking maybe some sort of, like, training grounds. Like, maybe like, you know, we know of Kunlun, or, like, we are descendants of people from Kunlun who were banished. And, like, I could see it being a training arc, because this is also bringing up the idea of, like, there's still things Danny needs to learn, whereas up until this point in the series, Danny's been mostly, like, you know, he's the... you know, strong protagonist who doesn't really need to, like, he develops emotionally, but he doesn't really have to develop physically. Yeah. We've been under the impression that he is, you know, perfectly physically capable of taking down any threats. And this is the first time where it's like, oh, Danny, you can punch the body, but you can't punch the poison.
And to be fair, I've been saying, like, I don't even know if you can fight Madame Gao.
Yeah.
We didn't need to, but, like, I was worried for a while because I didn't think he was going to be able to take on the Hand or take on Madame Gao or anything.
I could definitely see the big ol', like, here's, you know, a special technique you need to learn, or, like, you know, here's some training you have to do.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. Fully, yeah. And there's a lot of stuff going on with Ward and Harold and Joy and everything that Danny doesn't have to be a part of, so he can kind of be separate from it.
Yeah. I think if anything, like, Danny would be too much of a monkey wrench to get in here right now, because then we have the whole, like, oh, I thought you were attacked by the Hand. Oh no, Ward, you killed him. Wait, you're immortal?
Yeah.
Like, they could do some cool stuff with that, but I feel like there's enough just within the Meacham family.
And I think that it would be interesting of, like, Harold is so confident right now, because he's like, oh, I got my weapon. And then he's going to go, wait, where is my weapon? Oh, Danny, where the hell did he go?
Yeah.
Like, he's not really thinking about that at all. You know, he's very confident that Danny's going to take out the Hand, but he doesn't know where Danny is. He hasn't talked to Danny in a while. Like, he completely has no idea.
Yeah, and the Hand situation right now is, like, their heroin trade specifically is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Because Danny's, you know, attacked both of the places where they make heroin.
Now, to be fair, for Harold, he might be kosher with the Hand, except for the fact that, I mean, Gal's not keeping an eye on him, so she doesn't know that he, you know, met with Joy probably.
Right.
That is probably going to be an unknown to them. And then if you can still play it off with they cut off my pinky and stabbed me a bunch. Look at this.
Oh, I could see that.
I don't know if he would show that, because they'd probably be like, that's your heart. But, I mean, I guess they would know. I mean, we didn't, you know, you can't die, so.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they know that or not.
Yeah, because I feel like his immortality is also a little different from, oh, I forgot his name, Season 2 big villain.
Were you gonna say Nobu?
Yeah, Nobu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, specifically the fact that we didn't really set up the idea of Nobu coming back wrong over time.
Yeah. And, like, Nobu's closer to this than it is like the other revived people we got in that season of Daredevil.
Sure.
Like all the kids.
Yeah.
Like they were fully controlled.
Yeah.
But they still had like semblance of their personality in them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Nobu was like Harold Moore, where it was basically just him fully in control, and just it was kind of just like a I can't die sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Like that, and also
and
like,
he also like regenerated a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he was burned alive and then came back with skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he's got some scarring, but it's not as bad as it should have been.
Yeah. Nowhere close.
But like I feel like whether their immortality is the same, and also Harold's like big glass tube should come up again.
Yeah.
Because if the glass tube is supposed to be like a stabilizing thing or a way to like keep him immortal, I feel like the fact that he died in the pond and got back up might have like burned through a bunch of his immortality juice or something.
Yeah.
Or like maybe the tank keeps him sane or something.
Yeah, I wonder. Like the tank could just fully like we would have to explain it, but the tank could fully just be a like rich person thing, like where he's just like you know the way he used to be of like I take my vitamins and I don't drink booze and I and I go in my tank that gives me all my vitamins.
Yeah.
Like it could be something like that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think they would need an explanation for it, and I think more likely it is the immortal thing, but there is possibility for it to be something else. Like they would have to do a scene where he goes to do it and like doesn't do it because of now he's like I don't need this healthy shit anymore. It's so weird though, if that's what it's gonna be. So I hope it's something more immortal based.
Yeah.
Once again, I just gotta say, continuously, I love the Colleen and Danny stuff going on, and like, I really love Colleen specifically. Like, I feel like there are so many TV shows write a relationship like this, and they go like, but it's not interesting if we don't have the like girl's relationship constantly act like she is not into the relationship that much, and it's like, I'm glad that consistently throughout all of this, Colleen consistently like has stayed like in love with Danny and like infatuated with him, and even like when Bakuto is here and everything like that is focused like is saying like this stuff to Sensei and that, but is relying on Danny, is not like I don't know how to put it other than just like I really appreciate the way that they treat her and Danny's relationship.
I was so scared we were going to do some love triangle stuff, and I'm really glad they didn't.
Yeah. Same. When Bakuto was first introduced, I was glad that it seemed like we were not doing that, and now that he's come back, I'm glad that we are still not doing that. And now we're clearly doing a thing where Bakuto and Danny look very, very similar. Like, they both have the curly hair and curly beard. And, I don't know what we're really doing there, other than just Colleen has a type, I guess. But, yeah, it is definitely something.
Yeah.
Finally got the reveal that Ward did the heroin.
Yeah.
Whether doing it, clearly not the first time now, but I was about to say, like, maybe, but no. Yeah, finally got that reveal. Then, like, the cops of the heroin in his car and everything like that, with the way he's been spiraling, I fully believe that was just him, leaving it out in the seat and everything. But, like I now I mean it's gotta be Harold. Like the fact that we cut from the office to Harold is, I mean, it was Harold.
Yeah.
And like it's a horrifying plan because like as he says, doomed if he does, doomed if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Absolutely screwed. Can't tell him about him, can't not tell, either way he's fucked. And now it's like how do I put it? I said at the beginning of this thing, I completely forgot about that actually, saying in the beginning of him saying, I'll do anything to get my family together and everything like that, and then telling Ward that he can go, and then doing this to him. I didn't even put that together. But yeah, that is just so unbelievably Harold. And now Ward is stuck in here for 72 hours, so we can have this training arc with Danny, and Ward will be here, and it'll just be Harold and Joy. So that'll be interesting. And bring back, like, the, I wonder if the guy there didn't leave when Danny busted down the door. Like the guy that Danny was talking to in there who tried to kill him in the second episode.
Okay.
Or I guess not tried to kill him, but told him, he should kill himself.
Yeah.
but yeah, like I wonder if he's still gonna be there, and we'll have like a new scene with Ward and him having a conversation. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the same doctor came back. I wonder if that's gonna come up in any interesting way.
Like, we've got to do some sort of parallel. There's no way, writing-wise, you don't.
Because we know that the doctor isn't on payroll or anything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's not being controlled by Harold, so something's possible there.
Yeah.
Back to Harold and Kyle with the whole, like, Harold doing the dad thing of, like, oh, I've been such a piece of shit for decades upon decades, so to make up for it, I got a bunch of ice cream. And then you're going to, like, say, like, dude, oh, I'll have this ice cream, and then I didn't get that ice cream, so I'm going to be so furious at you for wanting that ice cream. And immediately ruin the moment. This is the like for I'm killing you for wanting vanilla ice cream. It is such an unbelievably like abusive dad moment sort of thing.
It's perfect.
It is. Oh, so exemplary.
I mean, it also says a lot about Harold that he didn't buy vanilla ice cream. All the ice cream he gets are like very bright shades or pure like exotic flavors.
Yeah, I mean, too fair, he doesn't say he didn't buy vanilla, but like we see all the ice cream that's there. They're all colored. None of it's vanilla.
Yeah.
So it is very clearly he is pissed. Primarily he is pissed because Kyle wants vanilla out of all these flavors. But I do think it is also the dad thing of like I didn't get vanilla and now I'm pissed at you for wanting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is the like it's the double thing of he asks Kyle what he would do if he found out he could live forever. He says the ice cream and he says that's lame and is like that's stupid, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what he said, and then he does it anyway. It's like he's already doing this on I know this is stupid but I'm doing it, and then he wants vanilla on top of that. It's like a double thing, but it's all It's the I can see how that snapped him, and also it's hilarious that it's like you're already doing something that you've acknowledged is lame. Why is this lame thing now too much? But at the same time, I can see the snap.
Yeah.
It's that's such a, and with the ice cream scooper, man.
Yeah.
Harold is such a fantastic villain, by the way. He has so many really, really good lines. Like the, oh, just shut up and die. And like, it's so like modern villain, where like, they want to do this really over the top kind of, like Harold has that like super big build. Like he is the old supervillain that is very, very smart and also very, very buff. Yeah, like that's a super old school kind of villain. And like, but they're doing it in a very, very modern way where he just cuts people off from talking and just said like I just love the way he talks.
Yeah, his dialogue is super. Every single time he says anything, it is good.
Yeah, like they really are able to do he can say the shittiest things possible, and they don't have to do it in a villain tone. He just says it, and it sounds so awful coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And like it's just Harold can do so many different roles. Like where he's talking about like oh, don't worry, where you're going, I've been there before, it's not so bad, it's just nothingness. And it's like he can switch between these like terrifying, brutish moments to these very calm, almost like godlike moments where it's like I have died and come back before, and now he can do it like doubly so.
Yeah.
And just switching between like the abusive father stuff, like there's so much going on in his definitely extremely memorable, one of the top Netflix villains. All the season 1 villains of the Netflix shows have been like impeccable.
Yeah,
fucking like Kilgrave, Cottonmouth. I don't know if I would put Fisk on the same level as them, honestly. For the most of season 1, but by the end of season 1, I don't know.
Like when I think of Fisk in season 1, I do think of him up until the final episodes.
Yeah,
they really just kind of like nosedived him.
Yeah, but with that, I would say Cottonmouth, Kilgrave, and Harold are like definitely the like top 3 so far in the Netflix
Yeah.
shows. And yeah, him laying down next to Kyle is so unbelievably creepy.
Yeah.
Like it is the I don't even know how many, like, there's so many layers to it. Like, it is he just killed him and then he's laying down next to him. It is he has this, even more so than his children, a very, very possessive relationship over Kyle. It's also like Kyle is an adult, but he treats him like a little boy.
Yeah.
And he acts like a little boy. And Harold has this, like really creepy old man cuddling this little boy who's not a little boy.
Yeah.
They definitely know how just weird it is looking. Just the visual context aside, just the visual of Harold like cuddling up next to his dead body is so weird. And there's not like it's one of those things where there's not a clear, like, oh, this is what they're trying to do with this. They just know they want to do a weird scene, and your mind's just going to go, what the fuck?
How do you think he's going to handle the body?
Yeah, because he's not going to be able to call Ward.
Yeah.
And, like, Joy comes up after that.
Yeah.
So,
Like, did he just stash it somewhere? Did he bother trying to hide the blood at all? Because also, like, he's not in his right mind.
Yeah. But, like, he came back to there. I feel like he definitely did hide the body. I mean, maybe he just hid it in the tank. But, like, there's probably places to hide the body. He also didn't know Joy was coming up at all.
Yeah.
So, that's probably why he was off in the distance doing something and then was like, oh, who's here? Oh, shit, hey, Joy.
One other thing. So, Harold, as you said, Harold describes dying as it is just nothingness, and then he comes back.
Yeah.
Like, in a series like Iron Fist, where you still have the big ambiguity as to, like, what Kunlun is.
Yeah, there's, like, the heavens and...
Yeah. Like, to know that if there is an afterlife, Harold didn't go there is interesting. Because that's also, like, is that part of, like, the hands regenerating process? Is it the, like, we kind of just hold your soul for a little bit and then put it back in?
Yeah, that is a really interesting,
like,
question.
For the whole series, I was really fascinated. Like, I was really excited to hear someone say that. I was expecting it honestly to be Gao at some point. So, like, I thought we were gonna have a scene where, like, they cut, like, they like kill her, and then she comes back, and then she's like, "Ha ha ha, Danny, I was just in Kunlun. I killed your sensei.
Oh no!
While I was dead." So even though it isn't that big of a deal, it is interesting that Harold does just, it is just nothingness to him. Because I'm curious to see if someone's going to then, like, rebut that and say, no, there is an afterlife. Or if it is going to be no, there actually is no afterlife.
Yeah, that would be a very strong thing to do of, like, there is this thing where you can live forever and be immortal from that, but then your soul won't go to heaven.
Yeah.
That is, like, an interesting, drawback from it. Because, like, some people might say... It is also, like, well, do you believe the person who's telling you that you're not going to go to heaven?
Right. Like, how would they know?
But yeah, are you going to take the physical, I can live forever, you know that's going to happen, or are you going to trust that if you die, there is going to be a heaven that you might go to?
Yeah. Because I can also see a parallel with that, with, like, the Iron Fist. Like, if it is, the Iron Fist is immortal, but the people are not... And the idea of, like, well, if Danny were to ask the hand for immortality for some reason, like, that's not his deal. But if he were to, like, that would be, he can actually live forever, or he has to accept that he will die someday, but he'll pass on the Iron Fist, or, like, he'll train someone else, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting thing to bring up and to do. Anything else?
What do you think about what Gao said? Like, when she was quote-unquote under the truth serum, when she brought up Danny's mom.
I believe it fully. Like, I think it was all true. And I think she is doing the long con of I'm going to say the truth and then do the I was pretending to make Danny not believe it. Because, like, I'm going to tell him what he doesn't want to hear, which is the truth. And then once he knows that I wasn't actually under truth serum, he will have unbelievable reason to, not believe me. Like, he will fully be like, yeah, why would I believe that was true at all?
Right.
It would seed the sods of doubt so much more than her just lying.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. I think it's true.
Okay. I think it is partly true, partly false. I think, like, how she got to Wendell was through his mom, but I don't think they were, like, active partners or anything.
Okay.
Like, I think it is a, I'm going to, bring up this actual real connection because that's going to mess him up. But I'm also going to make it, I'm going to imply that, his mom was more of an active participant. So when when he learns that that was true, he'll have even more doubt in his heart.
I think that his mom was an active participant, and it was the "if you don't, we'll kill your son" sort of thing.
Okay, I can see
Like,
that for sure.
The Hand does that all the time, so
Yeah.
I could definitely see that being a thing.
Like,
So, why were they flying to Anjo then? Like, if it wasn't the Wendell, wanting to, settle the shit. Like, that's kind of what we assumed before, right? It was like the Wendell kind of knew about this stuff, found out about the Anjo thing, wanted to go to Anjo, brought his wife and kid for some fucking reason, and then they, got blown up. Or not, I mean, whatever happened in this. Maybe the plane did just crash because of turbulence, and then, they got poisoned. Like, again, there's maybe the pilots were poisoned from the get-go.
Because actually, that does solve a problem we had in the previous discussion when we asked, like, well, when did they get poisoned? Was there, like, a ninja on the plane? Now we know that the poison takes a long-ass time to work, like this specific poison.
Yeah, but also, if the wife was on the plane, she could have poisoned them.
Also true. Like, it is a long flight. It's
Yeah, and then she goes like, I'm going to stand right here in this perfect spot so I can fly out of the plane and then activate my wings and fly away.
Or I just, took some immortality juice. I know I'm going to die. It's going to hurt, but I'm coming back.
Yeah, maybe that.
I could see that.
Yeah, like maybe she didn't know she was going to get flung out of the fucking plane. She just thought she was going to...
Like, we're just going to crash and then they'll die, but I'll come back.
Yeah. That also would explain why she wanted to go out of her way to do the crazy thing of going to Danny in person instead of being in a seat with a seatbelt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, as a, I am doing this to protect your life. You have to trust me. This is the only way.
Yeah.
Like, and then, in that moment got ripped out and then, the Hand thought she was dead and, that was the better option and now she can do some other stuff. I can fully see all that being the case.
Yeah.
Or it could all be Mr. X.
Could be. But, like, in the same way that we have, the big Herald reveal for Joy now, I think we could parallel that with a big Danny's mom reveal, like, near the end of the season.
We've also have not gotten anything at all with the what is the connection between Harold and their family, sort of.
Yeah.
The Danny has called Joy and Ward his brother and his sister, but then he's also said they're not my brother and he's done both. He's said brother and sister. He said friend. I've been very confused at what the fuck he means by that, but I do think it is they're not literally brothers and sisters, but because they grew up together, sometimes he just says that.
Yeah.
But yeah. That was really confusing in the early episodes. I was like, wait, are they brothers and sisters or are they not? But yeah, and it's confusing how that works.
Yeah. My early energy was exactly Harold's energy in this episode when he walks up to the building. He's like, he's like, Rand. Yeah, it's me. Wait, I'm not Ward. I'm Meacham. This is not my name.
All right, I think that's it. Do you want to say anything with the Colleen has the whole her dad used to do the Frog of the Well speech to her, I guess, a lot. I don't know why that's a thing he said to her a lot, but apparently it was. But the Frog of a Well doesn't know the whole world, doesn't know the whole sea. You are blind. You have the blinders on. You're only looking right ahead. You're not seeing the whole world.
Yeah.
But that's not what Colleen is. His dad has always said that you are the opposite.
Right.
Or not that you were the opposite, but that you aren't the Frog of the Well. Which is also really weird my dad constantly would say this Frog of the Well quote and then tell me I'm not that.
It has a weird, superiority complex to it in a way.
Yeah.
That sounds like something Harold would say to his kids. In the sense of, everyone else is a frog in the well and they can only see up, but you know the real world because I taught you that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that egotistical, but I think her father might have been saying it in the, like, if they are connected in some way to Kunlun, it might be about, the truth of this world. Like, about the hand and all that.
But she doesn't.
She doesn't, yeah, right. Or,
Like, it's one thing for Gao to be saying it, but for her to say that her father used to say it to her all the time is so weird.
I mean, it could be her father and Bakuto and whatnot know about the hand and the Iron Fist and all that. But she was the frog in the well. But he kept on saying, "No, you're not the frog in the well. I'm not hiding anything."
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they don't mean it literally isn't like she knows about the stuff like the hand.
Right.
More as a, like, when you look at a situation, you are not thinking of it in a, like, what would be good for me personally right now, or what would be good for the situation. You are always thinking about the consequences and the, overarching problems this would cause, or whatever. The ripple effects. Like, that's what Gao means by it.
Yeah.
Is that what her father means by it? I assume as well. But, so it is much more of a metaphorical than normally where it is like the, you know a lot more about the world. It is you are always looking at the effects of your actions.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, like, now it seems like you're not, is what Gao was saying. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything to really talk about with that, other than just, that's a thing that was brought up.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. I feel like this episode also planted a lot of stuff that's gonna, come up later in more detail.
Yeah.
Do you think the Hatchet Men are going to be cool, or do you think this is kind of where they are? Like, are they just going to hang out in their restaurants and random people are going to go up and say, like, "Hey, do you have any tidbits?"
Yeah, I figure that's going to be their role in this. I'm glad we're getting more of them, though. Like, I just like the fact that we keep going back
same.
there. But yeah, I guess they were fine after that raid. We had we hadn't seen them at all past the raid. They could have all died in that raid. We had no idea. But, okay, I guess they're fine. For taking on one of the hands, like, big places where, they were keeping their chemists and everything like that, man, no consequences for them. The hand went like, okay, whatever. I mean, Gao was kidnapped and all that, but...
Yeah. When she gets out, she might be like, okay, time to kill the Hatchet Men, finally.
I mean, she wasn't to do it. Like, it was a while between that and us getting her. She wasn't doing anything, so... She seems to not really care.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I'll say is I imagine the place that Bakuto's taking him is just going to be like, the Sanctum Sanctorum sort of fucking place. That's going to be that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm guessing training arc.
Yeah.
He's going to go into the Room of Spirit and Time.
No. I'm guessing more like the big courtyard sort of thing. Like,
Okay.
where Doctor Strange is training, or Afterlife from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or, these kind of places.
One last thing. Now that Ward is he's got the patches on him and he's doing the heroin, he's going to, presumably they took all of his heroin stuff away, so he's going to have to dry out for 72 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I think that could be a cool, like, again, in the same way that we had Danny's, 72 hours where they were questioning, am I even Danny Rand? Is this all a myth? I think we could do something like that with Ward, where, he is freaking out and he has to confront a lot of stuff he usually isn't trying to think about.
Yeah. I would love to see him have a redemption arc in this fucking place where he, becomes friends with the people in here and, realizes faults within himself and, maybe chooses to stay in there. He's been saying he wants to get help. This would be the place where you can get help.
Yeah, and that would also be a really cool, he was planning to go to this, super fancy resort or whatever, somewhere that celebrities go in order to dry out.
Yeah.
But say, well, I could just do it here. This place is fine. It's away from my dad, which is what I wanted.
Yeah, and he had such disdain for the people in this place in the beginning of the season.
That'd be a really good arc.
Yeah, so I'm back on board. I think Ward, they could redeem Ward if they do that. I'm not sure about redeem. Redemption arc is always the wrong word.
Yeah.
It's more about making them better again. I mean, not better, fine.
Sure.
Less bad art. Redemption really makes it feel like they go from being villain to hero. Whereas I think more what I want in a redemption arc is going from villain to normal citizen. You know, I am not bad anymore. And it's hard to get to do a redemption arc that really counts. I've seen a couple that have, someone like Ward who has stolen from pension funds and shit like that. It's nigh upon impossible to do a redemption arc. It's not all right, the Kilgrave sort of thing of you've killed a ton of people. The only real redemption arc is if you became a hero and saved more lives than you have killed.
Yeah.
That's the easy redemption arc, is saving more lives than you have killed.
Yeah, and even that has the inherent moral problem of, you shouldn't be doing that because you think you can, even it out. You can't get to zero.
Yeah.
like if Ward were to like do a bunch of donations to charities and stuff, like he's still not morally going to go to zero. And if the writers are saying, that's what's going to happen, then that would be bad.
Yeah.
It has to, it has to be the heart.
Yeah, it is like a making up for the deeds you've done without you acting like yourself are a better person.
Yeah.
It is just altruistically making up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And almost always it is I am just doing this for this other person. Like, this other person wants me to do this, so I will do it.
Yeah.
But that is fine, It is better to use you're using it as like a weapon at that point. Like, they are a weapon of bad, and you're just moving them over to be a weapon of good now. And so, if Ward just stays here, gets help, doesn't hurt anybody else, that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, because I think that would also be a good end cap to his, trying to get out of the company, but also wanting to have millions of dollars and trying to get, less and less of a payout. If he ends it with just, I'm not going to take anything, I'm just going to get better as a person, and I'm going to do good, and I'm going to just not be a part of this world anymore.
Yeah. And maybe they don't have to kill off Ward at the end of the season. Maybe Ward in the next season could just be an employee of Danny's.
I can see that.
That is just like, I'll do whatever you want to do. I'm a better person now. We're doing good. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Because Danny, as a business person, is going to be a garbage CEO because he doesn't know business, but he's a really good person. He needs someone who can do he needs someone who can go to the board and say the things in order to make the board do what he wants them to do.
Yeah, I mean, Ward is the kind of person who can, like we've seen many times throughout this, have this is a bad thing to do for the company, and I don't believe that it's good. I also know that it's bad, but I'm going to sell this out my ass like it's a good thing, and it'll work. Like, everybody will be on board. So, it doesn't matter if he even believes in Danny or not. If he was working under Danny, he could absolutely get people on their side and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's potential. I'm back on board. There's potential for Ward to have a good redemption arc.
Same. Fingers crossed.
See you for the next one. Until then, get the fuck out of here.